Hey guys, welcome back. This is the first stream since BF5 for League of Legends. We're really excited to get into that first game. It's going to be Butler versus Seton Hall. Super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to this match between these two teams, two really heavy hitters from Butler and Seton Hall.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Kim in this new season. I want to see Kim, our newest acquirer, just roll over.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been looking really dominant in these new jungle heavy meta.
Yeah. I believe he is #1 Talon, NA, #3 worldwide.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, he's really looking to play these carry junglers. He's going to play to absolutely dominate these lanes.
Yeah, I think the team's going to play around him instead of him playing around the team. At least hopefully. I think he's the highest rank for the team, so I just want to see him steamroll, just 1v9.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan for the side of Butler, as well as through top lane. Newtly should be looking to punish the tanks that Seton Hall pulls out in the top lane.
Yeah, I think Seton Hall favors the top tanks, pay weak side to that, and hopefully Newtly can just play something to abuse that, something that can carry pressure side lanes and stop any kind of split push.
Yeah, something like that, Fiora or like a Fiora, a Jax, something.
Yeah.
Something that would be,
Jax is super strong right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I think that Newtly is very strong in the top lane. You can see 27% of his team's damage in competitive right now.
Yeah.
He's looking very strong.
And he's looking very good in that graphic.
Oh, yeah.
We also have Levi in the mid lane. I believe he's the captain for a team, kind of doing shot calls, doing all that. He really kind of acts as the leader of the team, both in and out of game.
Yeah, he's a great guy to be around. Always love hanging around this guy. The team loves this guy. He's a great leader for the team. He loves this team. Just yeah. I mean,
it's handcrafted by him.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves this team. He just
he just loves the team.
He just loves the team.
I think he favors like carry utility mids, so like a Ryze, a Cassiopeia, maybe Nazir potentially. Moving to the bot lane, we see Carthago or Camille. He is probably one of the best ADCs in the Big East right now. He just knows how to position correctly in team fights. He just knows how to play his champions. He just does everything right.
Yeah, and absolutely, I agree with what you're saying. And this is going to be a tough matchup for him in the bot lane against Crop and against Seton Hall. They love to play for this bot side. Crop is a huge menace in this bot lane. So this is going to be a tough matchup, a big test for Carthago.
Yep. We also have our newest change. We have Nat Dog instead of Papa Jester this season. And previously the jungler, now moving to support. I'm hoping to see some off-meta, potentially support picks like a Jack, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Zach is what I think was what you're saying.
Zach.
Yeah,
I was thinking Jax.
Speaking of jungle, Kim. You should bring up him since this is our newest addition. He's looking to absolutely dominate this jungle. I think I mean, look at that. It's 31 CS, 31.8 CS, 19.8% of his team's damage. He's looking to just absolutely steamroll through this jungle.
I imagine I'm going to probably play towards bot side, kind of try to counter what they pressure, what Seton Hall is going to put bot lane, and just leave top lane to fend for itself.
Yeah. I think Newtly can solo win this. Oh, and we are getting into the draft for Butler versus Seton Hall.
Oh. Yep,
Oh,
there we
okay,
go.
there we go.
It's going to be a Tom Kench, Diana Ban out of Butler.
And Kindred and
Kindred,
a Fiora for
We got the
Seton
Kindred
Hall.
ban for
Kindred
Kim.
is a very targeted ban towards Kim. He
Yeah.
loves that pick. Kindred's very strong right now. And the Fiora also, that's a target ban towards Newtly.
I imagine same thing for that Olaf and that Diana, probably targeted bans to Seton Hall. And we see a Jax ban coming out against Newtly. That's 2 targeted bans to our top laner.
All right. And the
Elise.
first pick, Elise.
That's
a very
carry
strong
jungle that we're
pick
looking
right
for.
now. Kim's looking to play around the map. He's looking to get under those turrets, get the dives, get in on maybe top lane, possibly looking for some heavy pressure in the bot lane.
Very early carry jungle. I'm guessing it's going to be probably a 3 camp into gank bot. We see the Zeri Lulu, very common bot lane pairing that we've been seeing so far this season, both just in competitive and here in Big East. I imagine we're going to kind of pick our bot lane here in response.
I imagine that's as well. Maybe a Lucian Nami for Carthago and NatDog.
Could be a Lucian Nami. It could be really anything. We see the Zac.
Oh, we see a Zac and a Samira. This is a spicy bot lane for the side of Butler here.
Yep. And of course, NatDog's Zac is infamous. He has, I believe, 8 KDA and solo queue, like 70% win rate on it. By far his best champion. I'm interested to see what it looks like in the support position now.
Yeah, I agree. We did see this in week 2 against St. John's. He picked that with the Dark Harvest. Let's see if he goes back to that.
And we see the Wukong jungle being picked out on the side of Seton Hall. And let's not forget, the Zac actually could go other positions besides support.
That's true. It could go
top,
towards Newtly, or it could even go to Levi. But I imagine it is probably going to be a support Zac for NatDog.
We see just more bans coming out of Seton Hall against Newtly. They want to just put him on one person and counterpick him, I imagine. Just shut him down. Don't let him run away with the game.
It's possible, or they could just they could be picking their top lane first and trying to just put him in a comfortable matchup. Put Seton Hall's top laner in a comfortable matchup.
We see the Set ban coming out. By far, Newtly's least favorite champion. I think it is an instant tilt for him if he sees a Set. It's just something I know that he does not like, and I am not surprised by the Set ban.
Yeah, so Set he just doesn't like that W, I think. The big shield, the big damage.
He has a lot of complaints about Set. We see the Shen coming out for Seton Hall's top laner, and I imagine we're going to probably pick top into mid or mid to top here. But I'm interested to see what they pick into the Shen.
That Shen is looking to play heavily towards the bot lane with the Stand United. You can use that to once Shen gets level 6, you have to watch out.
See, and Annie is interesting here because Annie could also actually go support or mid, and now it's kind of up in the air of where that Zac's going, where the Annie's going. This last pick kind of locks it in, but it's still an interesting draft so far.
And Annie, a really strong pick right now after the 13.3 changes, where they buffed her E, gives her more damage and bigger shield, give Tibbers more resistances, more health. This scales with her AP, and the Scion coming out for Newtly.
That's just a split pusher. He's just gonna run down lanes. He's gonna force Shen to respond to him, so Shen can't run away and try to protect the Zeri. I'm definitely quite interested in this draft. I think the Vex is pretty good here out of Seton Hall. It's not very good into the Annie, but it can help shut down the Samira, it can help shut down the Zac, and perhaps the Elise as well. I think they probably could have picked something a little bit better, but it might just be a comfort pick for their mid laner.
Yeah, it could be. Another thing that Vex is very good at is roaming into those side lanes with the ult.
Oh, absolutely.
You can get into those side lanes, like if you get into bot lane, which I think is the entire point of Seton Hall's draft, is just to go bot lane, just absolutely dominate.
Oh, absolutely. That Zeri is going to be super hard to kill. We have Lulu, Shield, Lulu, ult, Shen Or, like the Sand United, like you said previously. The Wukong, the Vex is going to keep the team off the Zeri. It's going to be a tough game for Butler here, I think. And that Samira, they want to get that Samira head on Carthago, and it's going to be just about butchering ADCs, I think, this game.
And I'm interested to see this early how Butler plays the early levels of this bot lane. The Zac could easily if they hit level 2 first, this could be bloody.
Oh, it's going to be a rumble down bot. It's just going to be a tussle. I think it's going to be a bloodbath for sure.
Yeah, and I think that the question also is whether or not Newtley will be going the tank Scion playing for the team, or will he be going lethality and just
that is an interesting question. I'm not sure what he has experience on, what he plays. I believe that this tank would probably be better for the team here, but the lethality has its own advantages. It would allow him to just kind of run to the Zeri, die, and still run to the Zeri and potentially just kill her.
Yeah, exactly. With the Prowler's Claw, in the passive, you can do a lot of damage onto the Zeri. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Butler plays this in the top lane. And
yeah, I think it's definitely just kind of going to be a back and forth top. Very little attention kind of put to top lane. I think that the Elise is going to look for these early ganks because that's kind of what she excels at. And the Wukong, I'm not sure what his clears are like, but it might just be a 6 camp into a gank. So the Elise might have the advantage there.
Yeah, and also that it could be a very interesting path where you can go from red to blue. But before that, we will take a quick break before we get into the game.
Looks like we're going to be getting the game here. I believe it's probably just going to be a 5-point, although Butler does really like their early invades, so maybe it's not. Especially with that Annie buff that she starts with stun, it might be a really good invade here for them.
Maybe. I also know that they like getting this early bot ward. I think that's what they look like they're going to do. They're going to probably get this ward into this bush here.
Yep, they might be looking for Seton Hall, but it looks like Seton Hall just went for the typical 5-point. Potentially they can get a pick here on the Zeri. Oh, they're trying for it, but she's just going to walk away and nothing gained, unfortunately.
Nothing gained, nothing lost. Looks to be a nice little play for bot side. And Newtley is staying in the bot lane.
Oh, we get the classic, I believe it's Tiltarella that coined this, where the Scion sits bot, waits bot, gets the early pressure, hides in the bush, gets the Q, and as soon as he's done, TP's top to catch his wave. I'm interested to see if this works out, see if Seton Hall is expecting this.
I don't think they will be. I mean, the Zeri is playing super far back. Well, they're waiting for the wave up, and Newtley, NatDog is on his way over. See if they are able to capitalize on this play.
Oh, it seems like something happened. Oh, and you don't expect the Crop is going to...
First blood to NatDog.
Unfortunately, it did go to NatDog and not onto the Samira with Carthago, but it does definitely deny that first wave for the Zeri, for Crop. So that might be really good. And we see the TP out of the Scion to top lane, and he doesn't really miss much.
Yeah, he doesn't miss much at all. And that is a huge lead for the Butler bot lane. Nice Q from Newtley, canceling the dash from the Shen. And also, that kill going onto NatDog honestly is not that bad, considering that he has the Dark Harvest. He's looking to play that damage support.
Oh, that is a good point. I did not notice Dark Harvest. I forgot about that. It looks like we're just kind of kind of back and forth post here in the mid lane between Butler, Levi, and Ulax Style. I believe it looks like the Elise might be coming here for a gank, which is interesting. Or she's just looking to check jungle, so she can't take anything.
She's looking for a small invade, getting some deep vision in that top side jungle.
Nope, it looks like now she's going for a play top. See mid just scuffling.
And Crop is looking very sad.
We get a flash out.
He's got to burn his flash.
So we have flash for a cleanse. Pretty interesting. We see a gank coming in here.
Kim is coming in here.
Oh, it's like really good.
Might be a kill.
Oh, what a good play by Kim.
Great play from Kim.
He held the cocoon just for after his flash when he's on the tower. He thinks he's safe. Not yet. Kim knocks him down.
Absolutely amazing play from Kim, waiting for that flash and just hitting that cocoon, securing the kill.
That was great. It looks like the King Kong might be looking for a play mid, but Levi's safe in the tower. He's chilling.
Yeah. And
see a roam coming out from
a small little roam from
Rex.
Ulax Style coming up to the top lane, getting a nice vision ward in the dot rush in the top river.
Looks like we're trying to contest the scuttle, or no? It looks like they're just going to give it. They don't have the vision to contest that.
It's just going to be a nice little clear for Kim. He's a little bit behind after that gank. However, he does have that kill that he got to Butler.
I believe. You see a fight going on in the jungle with King Calm stopping Kim's back, but doesn't seem to be too beneficial. He might actually die for this.
He might die for this, and he does. Kim will get the kill, and that
kills on the.
Crop's in trouble.
We got.
And
Butler's just popping off
getting
already.
the kill. He is going to be that
Flash
big
out
carry.
the Lulu, pardon me for that stutter. Wow, this is going great for Butler so far. It's 4-0. They have a 2K gold lead. This is looking like a winning game already for Butler.
Not only that,
Not to jinx anything, I
the
suppose.
Crop is just so behind in XP. Like, Rose Dreams is currently ahead of him in XP.
Yeah, this is a tough game for Crop. I thought he was going to be a pretty safe laner with the utility that he can be provided, but they shut him down early. He's not going to be very useful later.
Yeah, the Samira Zac bot lane was looking to be a great pickup for Butler. Oh, and Levi looks to be just summoning Tibbers to clear the wave and get a nice back for himself.
Yep. I imagine nowadays the Tibbers is more closely associated, or not closely associated, but more in line with Yorick's Maiden, where you just kind of cast it when you have it, push the lane, and when you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah. Shen is going to be looking for a freeze in the top lane.
Kim is playing
possibly
super
going to
aggressive.
force Newbie to stay here and get not a favorable.
We have a fight going on in the bot lane, but looks like Kim is going to be safe here.
All right, and there might be a fight going on for this dragon.
Yeah. You see Levi's coming in here from top river. He's moving down, creating vision, but they have started the dragon, so it's up to Butler to get in here to try to push him off, see if they can't get anything out of this. But they're playing kind of slow. They might just give it.
They might give this, actually. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be backing off. The wave is crashing in the bot lane. Carthagio's not going to want to miss those minions, trying to keep his lead over Crop.
Yep, a good play by Seton Hall there, trying to push. They pushed in bot lane so the bot lane couldn't roam up without losing that CS. I believe mid lane was pushed in to keep Levi from roaming, and they just took the dragon for free. They didn't lose anything from it. That was a good play by them.
Yeah, small victories lead to some big victories for Seton Hall.
We see the Zac going in, trying to get the
Roser's in trouble here.
You know?
The
and
cocoon lands for him, and that is a kill for NatDog.
Unfortunately, NatDog does be stealing some of these kills from that Samira. And Samira really wants those kills. She wants to get ahead, get that money, and just start fighting the whole team one-on-one, or 1-on-5, I suppose.
That's true. However, you do see the Dark Seal for NatDog. He's got 3 stacks on it.
We see that gold difference. I believe it's an 8K gold lead for the Samira over Zeri, which is huge. It's half an item, basically.
Oh, and King Kong might be in trouble here. NatDog gets another.
Oh no, I got tricked by the trouble there. Kim looks like he's a little bit in trouble. He repels up. Might not be enough, I don't think.
Carthago's here for the cleanup.
He might be, Crop might be dead there to Tibbers.
Style he's just gonna get killed by the Inferno trigger.
And Butler is just running away with this game already. It's 9-1. It's a 5K gold lead at 8 minutes. Oh, it's basically done for Seton Hall unless Butler make a big mistake here.
And it's all off the back of this bot lane. Carthago and NatDog, both 3 kills. And just a huge lead over the bot lane from Seton Hall.
Yeah, we see shutdowns on both of them, 300 gold. And let's not forget the effort that Newtley put in for that bot lane. Sitting down there, taking that cheese with the Scion flash, and got the kill originally on Crop.
That's true. That was very big for them. Newtley also looks like he's going that tank route with the. He has the grasp. He's looking for the Heartsteel. Looks like.
Yep. I imagine he's going to be able to stack that pretty well into the Shen, but also the Wukong. Wukong can provide extra stacks with his clone if he times it correctly.
That is true.
He might get pretty tanky this game.
Yeah, and Butler looks to be getting that Rift Herald in the top lane. Kim looks to be in a nice position despite being down in CS, and we're looking for something mid. NatDog.
He's just.
Oh my goodness, he's just rolling over this game.
Love to see it. It's like they have 2 junglers this game with the Zac there. This is just beautiful. And this might just be mid tower gone. No, it looks like the Wukong's coming in to stop it.
He's going to be taking a little bit of damage from the turret there. He's going to have to back off.
We see a fight going on top lane, just a little scuffle, but I don't think either of these guys are ever going to be able to kill each other. They're both so tanky.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wet noodle fight in the top lane until they get some items under their belt.
We see Crop playing super safe. He's horrified. He's scared of the Zac jumping in on him. There's not much he can do about it. He doesn't have flash, he doesn't have cleanse. If NatDog decides to go after Crop has to just accept that, really.
Yeah. Crop he just has to play a little bit more safe because of the advantage that Butler's bot lane has. You can see the Serrated Dirk, Noon Quiver, and Vamp Scepter for Carthago. That is huge lead.
Looks like they're going to try to play make a play mid, but unfortunately, Ulak's style misses the ultimate there on Vex, and it just fizzles out before it even began, really.
Yeah, and he's going to be feeling pretty depressed about that, just like Vex. But yeah, nothing too much lost from Seton Hall other than the Vex ultimate.
It looks like there's going to be a 5v5 fight potentially with the Shen walking down. Nope, he's walking back top, but Newtley is still down here.
Newtley's down here. I think the ward might have spotted him there, so.
Well, don't forget that the Shen does have Stand United, so he can just teleport down there and still kind of contribute to the fight, but it looks like Seton Hall might just have to give up this dragon, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also there is a TP advantage for Seton Hall. The Unleashed teleports have not come out yet. It's not 14 minutes. They're going to be, there might be a play mid lane here.
Oh, they might be able to just catch him here.
ULAC Styles just playing too
we
far
see
forward.
Seton
The
coming
flash
out
forward from Newtly. And the
It's
Scion
just-
will be getting the kill. Newtly picking up that one for himself.
Yep. We see Stam United coming out of the Shen there onto the Vex, but it's not enough to save her. She still goes down from the just combined CC of the anti-stun, the Scion Q. It's just too much to escape.
There's so much CC from this Butler squad. And here
we see
comes
we
Nat
see a
Dog
double
again.
hit coming out.
Rock is in trouble.
It's just so doomed for Seton Hall. We love to see it here at Butler. I'm sure Seton Hall isn't having a good time, but here in the casting booth, and I'm sure everywhere here at Butler, we are just so happy with this game already. It's just so good.
We're very happy with this game state. 12-1. There's about 7K gold lead.
We see a bit of an issue here with the spectating tool. It looks like it's got fixed.
Okay, we're fixed. Okay. Leandri's picked up for ULAC Style. Also, you can see that for Levi.
Yep.
Both having that extra burn damage. Let's see how that plays out for
We
them.
have a 2K gold lead in the bot lane between ADCs. We have a 2K gold lead between the supports. We have a 1K gold lead in mid lane. 2K gold, or about 1K gold lead.
There's
in
just a
jungle.
gold lead everywhere across
it's-
the map. It's just a stomp. And Nat Dog might be looking for something here.
It's just constant going in from the Zac because they just can't do anything.
Rose
to stop
Streams might
it.
be in
We see
trouble.
the flash coming out of the Lulu. She falls to ultimate. It doesn't work. We see the flash coming out of the flash and the cleanse actually coming out of the Zeri, and she barely makes out with her life. She's half health. Didn't even jump on her. They jumped on the Lulu.
Yeah. I mean, this Samira damage is absolutely massive.
She has one complete item. She has Soraya Dirk. It's just over for Seton Hall. This Samira on her own, without even being this ahead, would be able to 1v9 by late game. But already, this Samira probably could just walk into Seton Hall and just win.
Yeah, I mean, the shield bow shielding, she'll be having so much survivability with that, along with the collector that's probably coming out next item.
Oh, absolutely. She's just going to decimate their team. They're all so squishy between the Vex, the Zeri, the Lulu. They have the shielding, but it's not going to be enough. I imagine he might also pick up a, I believe it's, what's the item called? Serpent Fang, that's what it is.
Oh, Serpent's Fang?
That destroyed shields. That could be an item picked up here by the Samira just because the amount of shielding they have, but she also might just go LDR and shred through the one tank that they have in Shen.
Yeah, I don't think you really need the Serpent's Fang here. I mean, she just shreds through those shields no matter what. She's just doing so much damage. And we're in a bit of a lull here.
We don't have
much
many
happening
objectives
on the
coming
map.
up. Well, actually, Rift is coming up here soon. I imagine Butler's going to try to contest this. We see Carthago 1v2ing in the bot lane, and I imagine, despite it being an advantage for Seton Hall, they're rather scared with that Samira there.
Yeah, I imagine that as well. Looks like they're just starting it up. There might be a fight here in the top lane.
They're trying to get a pick on that Scion, but he just runs away with his ultimate there. And they
the
can't stop
unstoppable
him.
onslaught is unstoppable.
He is unstoppable, by the way.
Yes.
Funny reference if anyone knows that one.
Oh, and that is a huge pick on the King Calm. There's
We see the Lulu ultimate coming out in the Shen there, and they're trying to run him down. Crop jumps in.
They actually
still gets hit
they
by
have
the
to
stun
run.
there.
They have to turn tail and get out of there.
Seton Hall needs to be careful here. We have this Samira coming in. Samira might pick up the kill there on
Carthago's
that
here.
Vex,
He's about to pick up some kills here.
Melt the team
Crop
here.
is in trouble.
He's going to clean up, and that is a 5 for none for Butler. Huge. 18-1. We have a 10K gold lead in the side of Butler. If I was Seton Hall, I would FF at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a solo queue game, this is a FF15. You can't just go next.
There's not even Butler hasn't even taken a tower yet, and they're 10K gold ahead.
Yeah,
It's just doomed for Seton Hall. There's very little that they can do to come back from this game. Unless Butler makes some huge mistake, it's impossible at this point, I believe.
Yeah, but you can still throw this lead away with.
Oh, absolutely, it's still possible, but I'm hoping not. Personally.
Yeah. First of all, hoping not. You can see the 650 gold shutdown bounty on Carthago, 500 on NatDog, and they're just going to be using that Rift Herald to take that first
turret. Blasting up
in
mid lane, opening up the map for more. They might just start kind of choking them, kind of taking any camps away from the Wukong, just really crippling them in their gold earnings.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to be taking the dragon here.
Yep. No contest coming out of the side of Seton Hall. There's not really there's not really anything that they could have done to contest that. There's vision all up in Seton Hall's bottom jungle. It's like 1984, throwback to Balfour, Indiana, if anyone watched that stream.
Yeah.
I think it's just Butler is running away with the game, as they should, but it's just so doomed. We have 3 towers coming down on the side, or for Butler. They take all 3 first towers. The map's wide open. They can go anywhere they want, really.
Yeah, they can really start putting this deep vision in the enemy jungle and start taking away some of these camps from King Calm.
Yeah, I imagine they're probably going to try to push out some lanes here. Maybe go 1-4, 1-3, with the Annie going into the side lane down there, and
or maybe even the Scion. You could send the Scion down there because he's got I imagine he has Demolish.
I imagine so, but it looks like they're going for 1-3 right now. The Scion top lane, the Annie in the bot lane, matching their respective lane opponents, and I think in all cases they win. They win the 1v1 top, they win the 3v3 mid, they win the 1v1 bot. There's not really much that Seton Hall can do. We have a gate coming out here for Kim, but he just dashes away with that Shen taunt. Unfortunately, back to the safety of his tower.
Yeah, there's not really much that Seton Hall can do other than just kind of sit and wait for some item spikes, but they don't have much time left.
Yep, I imagine Butler might be setting up for the Baron here on spawn. They can definitely melt it with the damage out of that Samira, damage out of the Zac, Elise. It's just free for them, and they can't. Seton Hall can't walk into them. They don't have any vision on the Baron right now. They can't fight him in any way. It's just a free Baron for Butler on spawn here. But
yeah,
it looks like they might just be going for a play mid instead.
I mean, look at the positioning from Butler. They're all in that top side jungle.
Yep,
and they're going to start
vision, they're starting the Baron up. And Seton Hall looks like they might be trying to close in on it, but we just had a back coming out of the Shen. We have them walking in, base checking really their top jungle. They're walking straight.
Annie's just going to go for the damage. Levi put so much damage on the crop.
We have King Kong's coming in. He's trying to steal, but they just melt King Kong before he can even get the smite off. He's CC'd to death, basically. We had the Lulu ult pop before they even got to the Baron. It's just impossible for Seton Hall to fight Butler in any way.
Yeah, amazing play from Levi just to get Crop's health just super low, getting that Lulu ult burned out super early in that fight, as well as a great play by the rest of the team just to kill King Kong before he could even do anything about the Baron.
Yep, we have Newtley just backing in basically the face of Seton Hall, and they can't do anything to stop him. There's nothing, they can't really kill the Scion at this point. He's not killable for most of them. They don't have enough AP out of the Vex. He has enough armor to stop the Zeri from really damaging him. It's definitely just getting worse and worse for Seton Hall. It's 14 gold lead, or 14k gold lead, sorry, on the side of Butler. We have 3 towers down. We're looking to get the next 3 here soon. So we're sieging mid with that Baron buff.
Yeah, you just gotta start sieging these lanes. And there might be a
They're
pick
looking for a play on Kim here. Kim might be dead.
NatDog is also going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Carthago is going to be going in with the look at that
coming
damage.
out, just shredding the entire team of Seton Hall. They're trying to get that Zac pass.
The quadra kill for
Quadra kill.
Carthago.
Almost a pentakill. Unfortunately, it was stolen by Levi. A bit unsurprising. But they might be able to end the game here with the Baron buff.
Yeah, they're just going to run it down mid. They have a wave.
Up. Seton can just tank the towers.
This is
They're probably going for the end.
This
here.
might just be it might just be game one.
It looks like they are going for it, or at least just for a couple of towers here. The Lulu can't do much to stop it. We have respawn timers coming up for almost the entire rest of Seton Hall, but it looks like the Lulu can't really do much to stop it.
Yeah,
She's waiting for her team. Zeri's late. It looks like they're just going for the end.
Yeah, they're just going to end the game right
do
here.
Something. But Seton Hall doesn't have any ultimates up. They can't do anything about this.
And
it's just
game one.
It's a 23-minute game, 24-2. Absolute decimation by the side of Butler.
Absolutely amazing
Loved that first game. I'm hoping we see the exact same thing coming out of Butler for that second game.
Yeah, and also you have to kind of question what Seton Hall is going to do about how are they going to turn around from this game, because this bot lane just looked so dominant. What are they going to? How can they change what they ban, what they pick in the next game?
I think they're going to have to ban this Samira away from Carthago. He just ran away with it. They might have to ban the Seton because of that cheese, or just play safer and expect that kind of thing to happen. There's just so many issues, I think, on the side of Seton Hall from that draft and from that game as a whole that I don't know what they can really do to come back from that.
And possibly even ban Zac. I mean, Nat Dog looked absolutely incredible on that pick.
Oh, it was a beautiful thing to watch Nat Dog on that Zac. I feel privileged to have seen that.
Yeah, me too. I think that he oh my gosh, he actually just ran away with the entire game.
Oh, I think they all did. They all did quite a fair sprint, I think, with Seton Hall there.
Yeah, I mean, the 23-minute, that is a absolute stomp for Butler. I mean, what else can you really say other than that?
There's not much. It was just Butler's better. There's not much to say. It's just they got the dogs in them.
Yeah, they have that dog in them. They have that.
We see the scoreboard. We see 14K damage coming out of the side of that Samira. We see not even breaking 1,000 damage on that Lulu, which you kind of expect, but still funny to see.
That is, and also 3,000 damage only for the Wukong. That is very sad. He wasn't able to get any ganks. He wasn't able to get any pressure on the map. Kim was just walking all over him.
Yep, we see by the end of that game there was more than a 5K gold lead between the two ADCs, obviously in favor of Butler. And I thought Crop was supposed to be a better player, but it looks like Carthago is just infinitely better, honestly.
Yeah, and also you can see 0 deaths from 4 members of the Butler squad. Only Kim having those deaths.
Yeah, you kind of expect Kim to kind of take those deaths because he's probably one of the most aggressive players in that team. Not to say anything bad about Kim, obviously. He's probably one of, if not the best player in that team. Although it didn't really show in that game because Carthago and Nat Dog kind of got the limelight.
Yeah, Carthago and Nat Dog took over that game, absolutely. What a great showing from Butler in this game one. I would imagine another game 2 stomp, but we will see.
They could surprise us. They could get kind of too up of themselves. They might think, oh, this is going to be an easy 2-0, but Seton Hall might pull back. They might, play a little bit safer in that early game and then kind of stop the snowball from happening.
Yeah, but knowing Levi, I know that he is going to keep that morale steady for his team. And
yep.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very fun game 2 to watch.
Yep. Well, before we get into game 2, let's throw it to another commercial break. All right, welcome back. It's going to be game 2 for Butler, and hopefully it's just as much of a stomp as the last game.
Well, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'm looking forward to a game 3. Last time I was here, I was for Battle for Indiana. We went to a game 5. So who knows? I'm all on for the board for as much league as possible. But Butler.
I suppose so, but it was nice watching that just complete stomp by Butler against Seton Hall. You love to see the reigning champions of Seton Hall get put in the absolute dirt by the Butler Dogs.
Oh, it's real nice, especially because when they did win the Big East last spring, Butler had a win and you're in situation as we're already into
we're already in the draft. We have 3 bands in.
I'll get to my story later.
Annie, we have the Annie coming out of the side of Butler. We have the Caitlin Morg. Interesting. That Annie could go mid or support right now, actually.
I actually like Andy's support a little bit more than mid, especially Levi being a very technical player. I like to see him on something that can more express himself.
Yeah, something a little bit more interesting than Flash R.
Exactly. I want to talk one adjustment on Seton Hall side. I really like the fact that they took out the Elise this time. Kim is known for 3 picks specifically: Kindred, Elise, and then the less conventional Talon. So we'll see if the Talon comes out, as it usually gets banned. But I really like the Elise getting banned because
it wasn't banned last time, and they took the Elise. So we'll have to see here. Exactly. We have the Ziggs coming out with the Annie. It still could be a Zach because I think they've played Zig Zach before.
They did last week. They actually beat St. John's with Ziggs Zach bot lane.
It looks like it's going to be a Rakan instead of a Zach. Interesting.
It's an interesting match. I don't know how much synergy Rakan and Ziggs have together, but
it could be something spicy. It could be Rakan mid with an Annie support with Ziggs. It could be spicy.
There's no way it's a Rakan mid.
I imagine it's not, but I'd be super excited for that to come out.
Remember Hextech Gunblade?
We have the new Aesol coming out. That's interesting. He just got reworked, and he's really strong right now.
I know nothing about his rework. I've taken the last. It looks like somebody must have.
Oh, I imagine. Oh, Aesol is disabled. That makes sense.
Yeah, well.
Wow. I was going to say, his rework was only like a week ago. I think it takes 2 weeks before the rework change can be played and competitive.
That is, for all those who don't know, the ruling is, so since this champion was just pretty much released into a brand new champion a week ago, they allow the champion for 2 weeks to be in live servers before they can be played, just to allow people to get used to what they actually do in their roles in teams and such.
And so they know matchups, so they know kind of what he wants to do on the map, that kind of thing. And for people to just be better at him than just, I'm going to first pick him and that kind of thing. And for nerfs to come in as well.
And for bugs, because I know Axel is very buggy. And I heard that there's actually a bug in the game where he can infinitely shoot off his ultimate ability, which, if that were to happen in this game, could sway towards Seton Hall. So I'm glad.
Probably just a little bit, but I imagine they wouldn't take advantage of a bug, hopefully. You never know.
I mean,
they might
in Worlds this last year, there was actually a huge play where the Orianna visual went off, but the actual ult did not go off, and it caused lots of stir in the community.
I remember that.
Because there's no damage or anything from the ultimate, but the visuals did go off.
All right, I believe they're probably just going to redo draft up to that Aesol pick and then pick something else. I imagine that's probably the ruling for it, is because everything else is legitimate up into the Aesol. So we'll have to see when draft comes back. We're probably just going to wait for that to come back. Oh, and here we are.
The Aesol is still picked?
No, I think it's just a visual glitch on our end.
Okay, perhaps. It probably is. Who knows?
Or perhaps not. I'm not sure what's going on there with that Aesol pick.
Well, I guess we might not know until the game starts, but I guess for the time being, we'll just assume it is an Aesol mid, mayhaps?
Perhaps. I wonder how the Annie Aesol matchup is. We have confirmation that it is actually just an Aesol.
The Aurelian Soul. Interesting. Well, I have no idea what he does for his abilities. So it'll be fantastic to learn alongside.
It'll be a first time for you, and it'll be a first time for me seeing it in competitive play. I know he's really strong right now if he is able to farm up and get his stacks on that passive. It's going to be interesting to see what Butler does to shut that down.
And we'll see. I think the Kindred is banned here. There is a chance that we see Butler Kim's Talon here, because there's no AD currently on the side of Butler.
Oh, they
And
probably are going for Talon then.
And
because they have
Talon is
Ziggs.
still up, and so they need attack damage here, which I really hope we get to see the Talon. It's been banned every game against Butler so far.
If I was Seton Hall, I would be shivering. Kim is the #1 Talon player in North America. He's #3 worldwide. That in and of itself is horrifying. And Talon itself is a pretty scary champion. He jumps to the wall and he just one-shots you.
You can never really know where he's coming from, because also with his ult, he just turns invisible.
Oh, absolutely.
So from out of nowhere, he ults, W's, Q's. You take, 12 shurikens of damage, and you're just gone.
Yeah, plus the blade. We have the Jax coming out for new.
Oh, please give me
and
the
we have the
Talon.
Talon.
Yes, we see
oh,
the
it's
Talon.
beautiful.
Oh,
we have the
I've been
Jax and the
waiting
Talon
so
coming
long.
out for that attack damage that they need. Oh, it's going to be a rough game for Seton Hall, I think. We have the Shen coming out again, and the Jarvan that was picked as Seton Hall's jungler. And it's going to be hard to keep that Talon in the cage because he's just going to jump away.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I do like the Talon pick, especially into Jarvan, all things considered. You get the Cataclysm up, and Talon will just be able to jump over the Cataclysm.
I think it's going to be an interesting game for sure. I'm really excited to see the Talon. I haven't been able to see it firsthand, but I've heard both wonder stories and horror stories from people that have had to play against it.
So, and also a little bit of Butler history. Kim was a player with us back in the 2019-2020 season, but he is a exchange student from South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And so, unfortunately, he had to go back for mandatory military service. And he's finally back for this split. And I saw his Talon back then, and it put absolute tremors in the people. But
Yeah,
now that
I think
it's able to
it
go
was
in the
feared
jungle,
in Korea. And for people that know League of Legends, Korea is much better than North America in most situations, in every position, I believe. And if it's feared in Korea, it is a nightmare in North America.
absolutely. And I want to draw some attention to his stats here. So his damage is actually kind of low, because he plays jungle in a unique way. He likes to farm a lot early, maybe get 1 or 2 successful ganks, and then just keep pounding the farm. Just get more and more CS lead, get more and more gold, and that way there's no chance the other jungler can catch up to him. You saw it was a 31 CS difference, I think, not including that last game. And even last game, you saw all the ganks he had were very efficient. He had the quick one bot and top side, which got both the outside lanes rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But I think his damage was only 700 more than Nat Dog on Zac. So
I think it's also partially because he plays as assassin. He doesn't have the sustained damage. He just one-shots people. So he's doing damage. He's just not doing it over periods of time, so he's not contributing a lot of damage to the game as a whole. But he's doing what he needs to be doing. He's getting the kills. He's doing all that. But he's not, he's not fluffing up his stats by just poking people out.
exactly. Which, if you look at our leading damage scorer from the side of Butler, it's Butler Nuclear, averaging about 27-28%, which is very surprising from a top laner. But it's because he's going into a lot of these beefy tanks. So
Yeah, and he's playing picks
Bribbler
like
on the he's on the Shen.
yeah, the Shen, the
Shen
Scion
Jax
just
max up.
pokes out. Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think Shen's really good into Jax because the E is he can shut down all of Jax's auto attacks, which is all he wants to do is just auto away.
Not Shen, but the Jax is such a strong pick right now. He's so strong in solo queue, and while competitive isn't, exactly like solo queue, there are a couple of things that say the same, and broken champions are still broken champions.
Very much so. And I think, remembering the 2 drafts, there's two tales. Seton Hall is very traditional standard. They have a full kind of front to back. Their comp is very what you would expect from the last 3 years of league. But if you look at the side of Butler, you have the Ziggs AD, which is not
Just
unconventional.
somewhat standard.
It was
but
usual. It was common for about 2 months last year, but I feel like they've nerfed a lot of APCs in general. You have the Talon, which is considered an off-meta jungle pick, but when
still
you have
works
a player
quite
like
well,
Talon,
and I'm sure Kim knows how to make it work.
it works if you know how to make it work, which I'm positive Kim knows how to work. Which, if you don't know how it works, you're going to stumble and fail, but if you know your way around the champion, it works. Who else do we have? We have, who's the mid?
I believe it was an Annie mid and a Jax top, like we were saying earlier.
Right. I would like to see more. I guess the Annie provides a lot of hard CC with the flash ult.
And
flash
she's
tippers.
just strong as
very
heck
much so.
right now.
Who's the Annie going against? Because I would
Annie
like to
was
see.
going against the Asol that we were discussing
that's
earlier.
right.
And that's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't know most of the Asol matchups, what they're like, but I imagine an Annie's going to be hard for him to deal with because she can stay so far away, and he wants people to come at him. He wants people to kind of try to dive on him because he has abilities to kind of do % health damage, to keep him back, to get himself back, and the Annie can just stun lock him.
Well, I know traditionally the way you beat Asol was with the Zeds, the Talons, the Yasuos who can get in and just one-shot, which worries me about Annie because the Annie's range is pretty far, which I don't know if Asol's passive, if he still has his stars rotating around.
They removed the passive star rotating, and now it's a stacking passive.
Awesome. Well, we're here going into game as both sides are in bot side.
We're going to
might get a level 1
skirmish potentially. We see
both
Talon
Levi's
coming
getting
out.
caught out here. Is he going to get punished for
we
the
see
flash?
we see flash con.
Flash more so.
Oh, we get the knockup
as
through
we're going
Rakan.
No,
it
is
looks
anyone
like
going to
Seton
drop
Hall's
from
running.
dribble as though the ignite is on him ticking away, but it seems like we're just going to get a little scuffle here and.
We have two summoners coming out on the side of Seton Hall, the heal from the Morgana and the flash from the Shen, but only one summoner coming out of this side of Butler, which is just being that ignite on the Butler Nat Dog.
I think, yeah, through and through, 2 summers for 1 is definitely worth on the side of Butler, and especially the E-Flash from Shen. That removes a lot of potential gank pressure from Newtly in the top side. So who knows what Newtly's going to do in these first 5 minutes. If he wants, he can do a lot.
I hope that he takes advantage of that, and he really punishes Blubbler, and really just makes him pay for bringing that flash early when he doesn't really get much out of it.
Looking through the starting items here, it's all looking pretty standard.
We see a cheese coming out of the side of Newtly. He seems to really love hiding in bushes and getting kind of early poke on people like he did last game with that Scion. We see Crop playing a lot more aggressive now that Butler's side is playing kind of more scaling, sit back, poke him out, farm for late game. And he didn't get a Scion in his lane 01, so I imagine Crop's feeling a little bit better, but...
Especially they have an all-time iconic bot lane of Morgana Caitlyn. That Morgana stun hits, it's guaranteed for the Caitlyn trap to hit you immediately after, and resulting in at least half your HP bar.
At least half.
So it's like there's the stun, there's the root, and that's exactly the combo, right? Like that, Nat Dog's HP is cut in half as soon as I mentioned it.
That didn't even add the trap on that.
They didn't do the trap? Oh.
Well, I don't believe so. I believe it was just the stun, Morgana, kind of rotten ground, and the Caitlyn Q was just that. No trap coming out.
I guess they're only level 2, so they might have taken E level 2 for a little bit more mobility.
Probably, in case of a early gank from the Talon. It looks like both junglers are just going for full clear. Actually, the J4 skipped both his Krugs and his Wolves, while Talon's looking for a full clear.
Well, as you can see, the Jarvan tried to see if the Raptors, the red was there, but as
it looks like they're going for a gank on the Annie, but he's just going to walk up top river and run away.
As all potential damage seems to be avoided from Levi there. As we also see Kim get spotted out, or is that just a potential warning ping?
I believe it's just a potential warning ping that they expect kind of Kim's top. He's taking, top scuttle, and so Jarvan will take bot scuttle.
So we'll see Kim is top side. So if there's a fight, something here. It looks like Kim is heading top.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking for something here.
I think he's going to get a reset cast on the goal, but if something happens, he can jump the wall. And
it is going to be quite hard for him to gank the Shen when he has taunt. He has so much ability to tank damage and get away from it too.
Well, I think he's trying to burn the E out here, and
he burned the W. He burned that kind of blocking auto attacks part. He burns the taunt there, so it might be a potential gank out of the side of Butler. they're looking for potentially?
I don't think so. Well, if River stays here, he's playing dangerously now.
They're looking for it for sure.
The W slows him down. Gets the electric drop as Kim.
That's a first one Talon.
Signature Talon.
That's
brings it home.
Really bad for Seton Hall. That's 400 gold to Kim when he's already heading farm. It's going to look like
forcing the TP out of Shen.
Yeah, force the TP out of Shen. We have the matching TP out of Newtly. It's going to be a dangerous game here for Seton Hall with that Talon you having first blood.
So Butler has a 500 or 600 gold lead roughly here, and 500 of that is on the Talon, and he has futures market. So right now Talon is about 650, 800 gold ahead of King Calm on Seton Hall's side. So that is a very intimidating start for the Talon.
He has that sort of Dirk and that long sword. He's going to be doing a lot of damage here in the early game.
Especially with no armor being built by anyone yet. The Talon WQ is going to do at least a third bar.
It looks like he's just going for a full clear. Potentially a repeat getting top because we have the wave pushing in top side, and it's going to catch here just outside tower. So
I think I'd really like to see the Talon try working the mid lane a little bit, get Annie rolling, and shut down the Aurelion Soul. You know, with the Aurelion Soul being so new to the game, who knows? It's hard to actually judge his true power level. So if we can just get him shut down, I think from Butler's side, that is what one of the biggest areas of concern could be from Seton Hall.
We see a Rome trying to come out here from the A Soul, but they might just be warding Dragon, potentially looking to take it. If Kim shows topside here, it's just going to be a free Dragon for Seton Hall, but I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if even more fed Talon is worth one losing.
Newtly might die here after taking an E. Oh my.
Oh, he still dies. I'm not sure what killed him there. It might have been just minions. We have the W coming out from this Shen, but I think Kim just wins this.
Should be able to clean this up. I think he's just waiting for his W to get back on cooldown.
He's just waiting for cooldowns here.
He misses,
we see
though.
Levi. Oh, he might be saving it for Levi. And he misses the flash taunt. That's horrible. And Levi's going to pick up this kill here. That's going to be really big for Butler. We have the Annie that we were talking about. We wanted to get the Annie ahead, and now she's ahead.
Exactly, and there'll be a gold lead for Aurelion Soul here, but in general, the Annie's got to be up a couple, probably about 5 CS worth of gold after a 10 CS difference. Is Aurelion Soul also going for Rod of Ages?
Yes, I believe so. He wants to scale. He just wants to make it to the late game and decimate the team.
I think we're going to have time if you're Seton Hall. If you're looking at Butler's combat, I feel like they're really trying to win in the 25-minute range. With Talon, it's going to peak with like 3 items. Andy's going to look for those flash Rs for the mid-game
I think it's going to be hard, just in general, for the Ace Soul to do much this game. He's going to have to build the Zanyas probably second, and otherwise he's just going to get obliterated by this Talon.
Exactly. We'll see. And Bing, we also have the Morgana, which is...
We have Newtly going for an interesting invade here on the red buff. We have... it looks like he might just die here. We have the R coming out of the Ace Soul. We have the...
The stun is up, and Tibbers is up. They could only one on the Tibbers.
Oh, we have the flash coming out from King Calm, and it's a kill onto Levi, and a flash coming out of the Jax, but he might still be dead here.
I think he is.
And that's a double kill for the Ace Soul. That's not going to be good for Butler.
The Annie
2 kills from the Ace Soul.
had the stun up and was ready.
Kim
goes in trying to get one, but the channel comes out. Oh, that was
a very quick
reaction.
From the Shen. Wow. I would not have been able to react that fast. I would have been spooked, really. I would have jumped out of my seat, probably.
Burbler, although has this year been less than what he has in years past, is very, very foundationally sound on these tanks. Is what he's known. Lots of Ornn, lots of Shen, lots of Maokai when he was considered a top lane. And so I'm sure that instant reaction to the Talon there was, I'm sure, just instinctual to Burbler being a veteran of the game.
It's definitely not as hard of a stomp as the last game, but I'm sure that Butler can still turn it around here. We have 1 dragon for the side of Seton Hall so far. They might be trying to stack those dragons early so they can play for late on it.
So, especially, they just flashed the gold there. Aurelion Soul is now up on Annie in the mid lane after picking up those 2 kills. There's up about 300, 400 gold. So this Rod of Ages, if it gets, you really want to shut down this Brilliant Soul for as long as possible.
Well, you do have to remember, the Ace Soul doesn't have Flash Up, and the Annie does. The Annie can build up her stun for the R, Flash R, we have a Talon come in. This Ace Soul is going to have to play really safe, otherwise he is just going to get one-shot by the mid-jungle duo of Butler.
We'll see, and we'll see what build Newtley goes for on the Jax as well. Is he going to go more tanky? Is he going to do more split push? That'll be something to look out for.
It does look like he's going to be building the
Divine Sunder?
Divine Sunder first, I believe. We have the Flash Stun, like I was talking earlier, and that's a quick kill for Butler's Kim on the Aso, who actually had a shutdown. So that's 450 gold for Kim, and puts him even further ahead, even more of a threat to Seton Hall.
And just you mentioned the key to that kill was the flash on Levi, the game that the free stun with the flash Q or R to even see. I think it was a flash R.
I believe it was a Flash R coming out there.
And then Kim jumping the wall, ulting, using all of his abilities.
There wasn't much that Ulak style could have done there. It was just flashed dead.
And one thing I just noticed for Kim is not only does he have Yomu's, which gives him more mobility to run around the boot, he just got his magical footwear. So he didn't have to pay for those boots and he has them. And he's gonna, his map pressure is very increased now by how much he's gonna be able to roam from location to location.
Yep. And he does have the blue pet in jungle, which is gonna give him movement speed whenever he enters a bush. So he's gonna be running up and down the map, jumping over walls. He's gonna be everywhere all at once.
So I think the next big objective should be Dragon here is.
You see a play going on mid. They're trying to break open this mid tower, but you have Kin coming in here on the side. It could be really bad for Seton Hall. But it looks like they're just going to run away. Not much is going to happen from Butler's side. We have the Talon coming down, trying to contest the Dragon. We have Seton Hall is coming up. It's going to be a 4v4 potentially. It's probably going to turn into a 5v4 because that Shen R, Nui's going to have to teleport back to stop it. They're jumping on Levi.
This is a fantastic Cataclysm. That's the one person you knew Levi just burned flash on the kill on you. You know, that Cataclysm hit, there's no way for Andy to get anywhere. That was very good awareness and a call out by Seton Hall. As this Dragon should just be theirs now.
That was 3 ultimates burned on the side of Seton Hall. So potentially, Butler could come in here and try to contest it, but it looks like they're just going to give it away to Seton Hall and wait to see what the soul is. Almost a steal from Carthago there with the Ziggs ultimate, but a little bit too late, a little bit.
Gotta appreciate the effort while it's there, you know.
You miss all the shots you don't take.
Exactly. As we're seeing 2 Leandries come out from Butler. They fixed where, did Leandry stack now, or is Leandry's, I remember, because Leandry's does percent max health. So when 2 people have Leandry's attacking the same target, only 1 Leandry's procs. They changed that recently, or is...
I'm not sure.
That's the only thing I'm concerned about from the side of Butler is when you have multiple Leandries, you have to stack them on different champions.
I'm not quite sure. It'd be interesting to know that. I actually have never heard about that original issue in the first place, so I'm not sure if Butler does.
First got changed, but I'm not sure if they've...
We have a TP coming out from the Ace-Soul that's going to stop the dive. I'm not even sure if it was needed because it is a Shen. It's going to be pretty hard to dive him.
I think it was needed because there were 3 members committed from Butler.
You are correct. I did not see the Annie roaming up. But it is going to be TP out of the A-Soul, which is going to kind of stop his roaming potentially, or stop his backs. And it is going to eventually going to give Butler the TP advantage in mid lane.
What soul do we have? There's 2 Drake lead on the side of Seton Hall, which has a very good win condition. But I'm not seeing...
I believe it's Cloud Soul, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, I am mistaken. It is Mountain Soul.
It's Mountain Soul. Ooh, so that'll be...
If you look at the map, you see the kind of...
little bonus
new
structure
kind of coming up there, yeah.
As we see, almost everybody has their Mythic in now. I guess Talon going for the Yomu's first doesn't have his, and leaving only the supports not to have theirs, but... Things are slowly turning on for both teams. We have a bot lane
dive coming in here. We have the Shen R coming out, the Stand United, but it's going to be wasted. Not much can happen there as the Ziggs kind of propels himself away and the Rakan follows after him.
It's my favorite part of the game. 4-person bot time. As a support player, you always when you see all 4 people bot side, you have to let your teammates know instantly.
Oh, it looks like they're going to go for a...
Gets the charge. That's great zone just by Rose.
Zonia's coming out.
But the bomb comes out.
It could still be a kill? No.
Forcing the flash.
She burns both summoners. We have Kim coming in here to clean up onto the Morgana. That's Aura coming out of him. And Krop is running after Carthago, but he's just going to die here. That's another kill for Levi and a huge cleanup for side Butler. That's going to put them 2K gold almost ahead, and potentially they can take bot tower here. Seton Hall is responding with a Rift Herald on the top side.
With the Ziggs especially, that tower is gone for sure. But I wanted that positioning by Carthago there, and the awareness, the patience there was clinical. That was textbook exactly how you want to play Ziggs. He saw the Zonia, so he placed the E and put the W on the Morgana to knock it back. And then just the patience to run away and somehow outrange a Caitlyn. I mean, in order to do that, you have to know the exact limits of your champs.
Ziggs is just so far ranged. Caitlyn is known for being far ranged, but Ziggs is a mid laner. He's not meant to be played bot, technically, so he has the range advantage on the Caitlyn, which she probably never has to deal with in most cases. We have an interesting play going on here in the bot lane. We have Newtley trying to clear vision, but he's going to be stopped by 3 members of Seton Hall.
So we'll see.
Rakan might get caught out here too, potentially. We have Carthago using his knock there to stop the Asol. We have 3 ultimates. No.
With Nat Dog there, there's nothing to worry about. All the damage just gets shielded away.
There is an upgraded ultimate, though, coming out from the Asol, which, with the changes, he has to take 75 stacks to upgrade his ultimate, and instead of it being a stun, it's a knock-up. And it does a huge AoE damage to about half the map. Additionally, on top of that, it looks amazing. I think Riot did a great job with the rework, but not a good ultimate usage by UX Style there, because it's a very vital tool to be used in a team fight, and he wasted it on trying to get a pick on the Ziggs, which is going to be very hard without at least 2 other members of your team there.
We'll see. That cooldown does seem to be quite a while. We'll see what comes first, the Aurelion Soul Ultimate or the Dragon, which seems to be the next major objective. As the Rift Herald does knock down the first tower in mid lane.
We have Kim here waiting off the side, see if he can get a pick on the back line. We have Newtley coming in from the side here. We have TP far off to the side there by Levi.
The flash ult gets 3 people!
We have the Seton United coming out, but the target is instantly killed. That's a 4 for none from side Butler and a free dragon.
They saw their opportunity, had about 5 seconds to execute it there, and did it perfectly. I believe the anti-stun there had 3 people, which the Tibbers' ultimate range isn't that big. Getting 3 people is very impressive.
Yeah,
and then Talon getting the ult and the W on multiple people just
it was
shredded
just
all their
wombo
HP
combo.
bars.
I think the Stand United from Shen came out onto Krop, but he was already dead by that point. It was a huge shield because of how low health he was, but they just bursted through the shield and still killed Krop. So that's an ult coming out of Shen, but not anything really useful from it. It just delayed Krop's death just by maybe 2 seconds.
That was just phenomenal awareness of how short of a window they had to capitalize there, but how instantly they were to do it. So looking at the gold leads here, we have a 1,600 gold lead for Levi in the mid lane, and another 1,800 lead for Kim in the jungle, as Butler is... They're getting the players they need with the gold. They're getting them the gold.
Yeah, so it looks like in every position they're about. They're definitely ahead in every position. The closest it looks like is in the bot lane with a 400 gold lead about between the 2 ADCs and a 300-ish gold lead between the 2 supports. But everywhere else, it's definitely favored towards Butler.
So if you're on the side of Seton Hall, what are your win conditions here? I feel like you can play for Soul, which would be
I think the win condition is just Asol at this point, because I think Krop is going to have a really hard time with the Talon. He has to build a more shield bow to survive Kim jumping on him. Even with Morgana, stun, Black Shield, that's not going to be enough to stop Talon. He's AD damage, he's not AP.
I mean, and like you said earlier, I think Aurelion Sol had to go Zonia second. It looks like he's going with the Rylai's. I think that is going to be on his side, and he has a tier, so he's throwing all this gold into different things, but isn't getting items now to help his team win. He's delaying his power up, his chances to actually do damage here by a couple of minutes each time he picks up something else.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what he's going to go for here for a second item. It probably is that Rylai's, like you said, but I think he needs the Zhonya's to survive the Talon Burst, to survive the anti-flash R. We have them going in here, the Talon popping R, Crop is flashing away. We have the Standing United coming out from the Shen, we have the Cataclysm coming out from the Jarvan. We have so much is going on here.
So much is going on. As Butler seems running away.
1 for 3 for side Butler. Kim unfortunately dies, but they get King Calm, they get Crop, they get Rose Dreams. They're going to take this mid tower too. Nobody's looking for more on the ASOL.
I mean, I think this is Baron here. I think they're going to maybe pressure the turret a little bit, but I think they can run to Baron here in time with 11 seconds.
Potentially.
It's going to be back off.
It's probably a little bit too risky with those death timers coming up from the side of Seton Hall, and they did just burn a lot of their good ultimates in that team fight. So
and they have no Baron Shred, is what I realized. When you have a Ziggs and a Annie and your jungle's Talon, I mean, when
Talon does shred the Baron quite well because of his bleed. I believe his bleed does do some. Yes, the bleed procs on Dragon, on Baron. I believe it also procs on the jungle buffs as well.
We'll see. We actually see Seton Hall prep and be worried about the Baron. I think they're more worried about the vision and the potential Butler was on it than actually starting it themselves. But we'll see what kind of control they can take here. If they can get good wards here, they could turn the fight if they play nice and slow.
Potentially. We have the Jax in the bot lane looking for a split push there. The Shen's going to have to back to match that. Otherwise, he's just going to get that tower for free. He looks like he's going to take the jungle camps away from Seton Hall, from King Calm.
So we see, I think it'll be a little bit of a tango here. I think Butler should be looking to have their eyes on the Baron. That should be what they're looking for next. But over to Seton Hall, can they stop the Baron? Can they compete with it? Are they going to look and split somewhere else? How do they respond to the potential Baron threat on the Butler side?
It is going to be risky for the next team fight that comes up because that ASOL does have the upgraded ultimate back. The Sky's Fall, I believe, is what it's called when it is upgraded. And that's going to be a huge tool in team fights coming up here. He needs to just remember to not waste it like last time, and it might just turn the team fight entirely in favor of Seton Hall if he lands a good ultimate.
And Aurelion Sol did in fact finish the Rylai's as he chips away at Levi here, as I think no one will be.
I believe he's going to build the.
Wait, they're running after Levi. Levi has to flash.
Gosh, he might burn the ultimate here. Nope, he has good discipline this time, and he does not burn the ultimate for just a measly 1 pick.
Well, as I was talking trash about the Rylai's, it came in handy there, actually force it with that slow coming on the Dragon's Breath there.
Pick coming out potentially on Crop. That's going to be the
Stand United comes out from Shen, protecting Crop.
It's going to be Stand United coming out from the Shen, and Crop did crucially burn the exhaust there. So next time Kim wants to go for that, Crop's not going to have the exhaust to stop the damage. Looks like there's going to set for Dragon here from Butler. Butler has the advantage being in River first, and Seton Hall has to walk into them, which I don't think is going to be very fun against the Ziggs, against an Annie, against a Rakan.
And Drake's just getting burned. There's no way to contest that.
Yep.
That'll be the second
down free Drake for them.
For Butler.
And they are importantly stacking mountain dragons. If they get 4 mountain dragons, it's going to be impossible to kill side Butler, especially that Jax who builds up the resistances, the Annie who just adds shields on top of it, the Ziggs who stays so far away, the Talon's going to be even more of a threat because he's going to be in there, he's going to have so much resistance to all the damage.
And the healing from their Khan bouncing between person and person, providing all his...
It's going to be so hard for Seton Hall if Butler is able to get 4 Mountain Souls, or Mountain Dragons, sorry.
See, I'm worried because I see on Aurelion Sol is yet another Ruby Crystal. I don't know what a Ruby Crystal is, but he's building health. He has the Roa, he has Rylai's.
Seraph's Embrace is what he's going for next. It is a very strong item right now. It provides a shield. It provides a little bit of that tankiness that he needs, but I don't think it's the Zhonya's they needs to really stop burst on him, stop the engage on him.
There's too many items that Aurelion Sol need sitting on that 4-2-0 score.
Yep. I believe Annie is still ahead by a little bit yet, by about 400 gold on the ASO, despite being down in farm. Same thing with Kim there. He's 2k gold up. We have top lane up 2k gold as well, or about 1.5k there, sorry. We have about 1k now towards Carthago over Crop, and 1k about for NatDog over Rose Dreams. It's definitely the goal difference is definitely building for the side of Butler.
See, Butler should be they should be a comfortable in the driver's position kind of end of the game. Being up 8k gold, as Newtly tips away here at Furbler Burblers, it's probably just a little kerfuffle. But being up only 5k gold is a little risky, because it's kind of in that 3-to-1 goal lead in soccer where you have a comfortable lead, but you can easily throw it in 1 or 2 just silly possessions.
Just one team fight, I think, could throw the gold lead. One bad team fight for Butler could throw the gold lead entirely towards Seton Hall, especially if the shutdowns on 3 members of Butler. It's going to be risky if they don't win a team fight.
Well, especially with how fast their team fight happens. They look for Andy stun, Andy ult quickly. As soon as Talon jumps in, he can't, he can jump out, and that's about it. Jax looks for a stun and then to jump out too. Damage all comes within a 3 to 5 second span, and then they're in a lull. So if Seton Hall is able to bait that out and maybe to get a couple of major cooldowns off, the next team fight could be pretty close still, despite the lead from Butler.
Potentially, we have the Gore Drinker on the J4, which will make him pretty tanky, especially if he gets his ultimate, locking in multiple members of Butler. The Gore Drinker will make him extra tanky by stealing away health and healing himself from members of Butler. It looks like they're going to go for a pick here on Newtly, but Kim's here. He's jumping on with the flash coming out from Kim, and he's chasing him. He just can't get away from him. That's going to be King calm down. The ASO comes out. He pumps the ultimate. Newtly's just trying to beat up the ASO.
Shredding Newtly.
He's trying to fight back, but he's just keeping out of the fight. That's 2 kills back for Seton Hall.
As the Q hits Kendi, the cute Morgana snare. As the
ASO is running a little bit too far here. He gets charmed by the Recon ultimate. They're chasing him down. That's a kill over to Newtly on the ASO. Crop is in danger here. He's getting hit by the knockup. That's the exhaust coming out from Crop onto Carthago. They're looking to try to pick up a kill here or two. It's just a tussle back and forth between the 2 bot lanes. It's who's better. It's just kind of and a beautiful
fadeaway.
A beautiful bomb of the Ziggs there on the Crop. He just misses it. He just misses the Q coming towards him, and Crop goes down. That's now a 4 for 3 for the side Butler. A winning team fight, but at what cost?
Still a winning team fight, but yeah, like you said, it was a good showing by both teams. I think both teams proved there that in any kind of fight that could happen is Butler. They're going to start
rushing down the Baron now.
I guess with Ulac Style still being out for 3 and Crop being down for 14, they have the numbers here.
There. King Calm is going to look to try to steal us, but I don't know if he can.
Is TPing into the mid lane as he's looking in.
He's trying to go in here, but I don't know if they can. It's going to be a very risky Baron.
Is about 15% HP right now, as there's the
ultimate coming out, and it's a steal sorry, it's not a steal, but it's a secure by Kim. A trading of junglers there, both who die, but Butler gets ahead. They have that Baron buff now. They're going to have to siege out some probably mid lane here, and it's going to be hard for Seton Hall to deal with it, I think.
So they're going to rush
their eyes are now on the Drake,
as they're all beelining towards the bot side.
And they get there first. They have the advantage. Newtly back. He's healed up. He's going to come back. He still has ultimate. Andy still has ultimate. Carthago still has ultimate. NatDog still has ultimate. It's going to be a hard fight for Seton Hall, so it looks like it's just going to give it, potentially.
Butler is cruising around. They have the cruise control on, shooting down I-65, going
windows
nice,
down,
cool
blaring music.
74 miles per hour. This should be, a nice, smooth, calm drive ahead, as long as there's no traffic, no big road stops ahead. I think with this big 3 Drake lead, up 7k gold, this should be comfortable for Butler to close out here. There should be little to worry about, but anything can happen. So it'll be interesting to see how it closes out here.
It looks like it's just kind of now in a lull between the 2 teams. We have just kind of waves being pushed out, waves catching, and they're just kind of waiting for the next objective to come up here. But Butler needs to use this Baron buff. Looks like they might be going 4 mid, 1 top, so a 4-1. But I don't know that Asol can really keep the wave back with his Q, with his.
As King Kong goes in, there's
King Kong goes
Seton
in,
Hall's
but
trying to take a fight.
he's separated.
But
We have to dodge this coming out.
Before in the backline. How do you stop? How if you can't stop a talent in your backline? What are you supposed to do? King caused so much havoc back there. As Newtly has a free top lane. Butler is cruising.
That's a 1 for 2 for the side of Butler. Levi's dying there. He burns the flash. He burns the Zanyas, but he gets the stun on members of Seton Hall, and they just fall. It's going to be a 3-1 right now. Split pushing their open up inhibitor. They're going to move towards top lane, open up top inhibitor 2.
As
And
they've
Krupp
taken
might
3
burn to
turrets
death
now.
here. Krupp
Oh,
dies to
wow.
injuries.
Wow.
This might be game for Seton Hall. It might be just a quick 2-0 by Butler.
I think Korea may end here is what chance maybe what we are getting in chat. As Butler should, they have the numbers, they might be
We have a
worried about
flash
the goal.
engaged by Butler Netdog. He knocks him up, but not much follow-up there, unfortunately. But it does knock him back into Fountain.
Seemed a little lack of communication. That dog went in, had a good engage there, had a moment, but I don't know if there's probably lack of cooldowns. As Butler, they don't want to end it here. They want to play it safe. They don't want to potentially throw anything away.
Yeah,
They're
it'd definitely be
reset.
risky going for the end there. They are low in health. They have high gold from that fight. They just probably want to back reset, buy up their items, pick up the buffs that are up there, like Levi picking up the blue buff there, reset and look for bot lanes and push out bot lane. We have inhibitor down top, we have inhibitor down mid. Those waves are going to auto push towards Seton Hall, and now they just focus down that bottom lane. They can 5-stack it, burn through it, and I don't know if Seton Hall can really win a fight now. It's a 10k gold lead for Sia Butler.
Yeah, as we see the not fully stacked Saracen Brace come out from the Aurelian Soul there, which seems questionable as they're going for a Death Cap next. Still no Zonias or any respect to the talent on the other side.
Absolutely, he's just going for that death cap, like you said. He finished out the Seraphs, he finished out the Rallies. He refused to build the Zanyas, and I think it would just be so helpful for him. We have Newtly jumping in here, doing the classic it that you love to do. We have Seton United coming out from the Shen onto King Calm. That's going to save him there, but that's 2 ultimates burned for Seton Hall for 1 kill.
Don't think Butler can fight here though, because without Newtly's engage, and they're with Seton Hall being so close to their fountain, if they take a trade, they can just heal up real quick.
Yep, it looks like they're just going to try to siege down this bot tower here with Ziggs. Ziggs is quite good at sieging down towers. He can just throw these abilities at them, throw the Q, throw the E, throw the W, and they can't really get on him. We have Kim, I believe, is pushing out that top lane there, forcing them to respawn, and we're just going to keep trying to just poke at them while we wait for Newtly to respawn.
So you see, yeah, he's not worried about this bot lane. He's worried about future. He's worried about 5 minutes down the road. He's farming his jungle right now instead of being with the team or pushing waves, which is he's resetting. We'll see if he cashes in an item, mayhaps, when
He might catch
returns to base.
in, I believe, Shroudja's Grudge. Yep, there it is, out for him.
As we see, the Drake will be the next objective. As you see 3 members of Butler's base coming in towards the Dragon.
You see Carthago pressuring out that mid lane there, keeping it pushed up, forcing him to respond. We have the Dragon coming out. Butler is, of course, first here. Oh, I didn't even see the Levi catches Rose Dreams out there. Krupp's caught out too. Krupp flashes, but he's still dead to Kim's Q there. We have the jump on by Talon. King Kong flashes out. We have the ultimate coming out. Sky's Fall from the Asol. Asol's flashing away. He's still dead. Butler, he's running away. He's trying to get to Fountain, but he's just pushed back. He doesn't die, but it's just over for Seton Hall. It's a quick 2-0 from Sia Butler. There's nothing they can do at this point. They're just going to take down this Nexus inhibitors, or not inhibitors, towers. They're going to kill the Nexus, and that's game. That's a quick 2-0 from Sia Butler. Beautiful game. Didn't go, there wasn't as hard of a win. First game wasn't a 23-minute game, wasn't 24-2, but at the end there, it was definitely a stomp from Sia Butler.
Zigzag. It was definitely a more close game than the first. First game was in and out instantly. And Seton Hall proved that fight there, but in general, it was very comfortable closeout by Butler. There's no worries. I guess there's one or two team fights where Seton Hall seemed like they might break in, but then on the next one, they fumbled the bag. So, very strong, structural, complete game from Butler.
For at really all points of the game there, it kind of seemed like Butler knew what they were doing. It was definitely always in Butler's favor, but really up until the end there, it kind of looked like it could sway back towards Seton Hall at one mistake, but Butler didn't allow any room for mistake. They didn't allow Seton Hall any kind of opening to get back into the game. They just kept shutting them down at every position. They were first there to the Dragons, first there on Baron.
I think if you look at some of Butler's recent wins, it's a team that doesn't focus too much on what is considered meta or the best right now. I mean, we're picking talent. It's a team, we haven't picked talent yet. Two of our wins come off the Ziggs. Ziggs in the bot lane. You don't see that too often in 2023. You see the Jacks and the split pushers top. So there's so many, as we're actually going to go to the floor for an interview with one of our players, and Ryan is going to be taking that interview with us. So we'll be cutting over to Ryan.
Well, that was a great interview by Ryan to Levi. I'm excited to see that he is kind of taking a step back, letting his team kind of show what they're made of and kind of win the game for him.
It is very nice to see it's a team effort. I mean, there was no... Oftentimes when you look back at a series, there's one person, one player who stands out as above the rest as a clear MVP. In this game, you could maybe call Kim's talent in game 2, but the least... I guess, would you give it to Kim? Would you give it to Levi and two very foundational games on the Annie?
Would you give it to Nate Dogg? Because
Exactly.
he played well the first game. He played amazing the first game, and he played the recon quite well. The second game, do you give it to Carthago? Because he steamrolled basically by himself that first game, and he kind of played the Ziggs well the second game. He kind of got those picks on crop, and then Newtley just played weak side quite well.
I think my personal vote, coming from the caster's desk, would be towards Kim. I think the Elise in game 1 was the biggest reason as a quick stomp. He had 2 plays in the first 5 minutes that expedited both side lanes. And although his damage wasn't the highest of numbers, it was where he was doing the damage. It was every single point mattered. And,
Absolutely.
And in game 2, he was just everywhere in the map. As soon as... I don't think he might have went deathless. No, he died. He had a couple of deaths.
He did unfortunately die there in one of the endgame team fights, but for most of the game, he was deathless for sure.
And for every other team to come out here and to ban the talent, give him the respect, and then like, oh, you guys now respecting my main, the one person I'm known for, you're going to leave it up, and then picks it and has this kind of performance, I think my vote for MVP
it's what we expect,
would be to Kim.
Really.
As I think that'll be it from us today here at Butler Esports. It's been phenomenal giving these games to you guys, and hopefully we can give more to you in the future. And on behalf of Butler and everyone else here in the facility, I want to wish you guys have a good day and take care.
Yep. See you guys next Saturday for the game against DePaul, I believe. Thanks for watching.